And because of the fact that we are here on earth for a very short time, God is encouraging us to live wisely. Because one day, you will meet your daddy. Wisdom is knowing that your days are numbered and not pursuing it in vainless pursuits. That is wisdom. Realizing that my days are numbered. Because of that, because I have 10 more days. Let's say I have 10 more days to live. Will I use it up watching YouTube? We say no. Yet we live our life as if our days are not numbered. As if our days are infinite. But the days that you have not used for God's glory can never be retrieved. It can only be the time, the opportunity to store up treasures here on earth is only available now. Today, at this moment. Let's not waste it. Let's live for Christ. It's not that long. The sacrifice that God is wanting us to do for His glory, for Christ's sake, is only like yesterday. It's only as fast as the time at night. The devil would want us not to think that way. But let us not be fooled. Lord, teach us to count our days. Go to Luke chapter 13. Luke 13. Verse 13 says, someone in the crowd said to him, Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me. But Jesus said to him, Man, who appointed me as judge or arbiter over you? Parang nagalit pa si Jesus dito. Ay, why are you trying to make me the arbiter between the fight between you guys? If there's anything that is important to me, it's your fight with God. Your rebellion against God. Verse 15. Then he said to them, Beware, and be on your guard against every form of greed. For not even when one has the abundance does life consist of this possession. Jesus is the one speaking here and says, be on guard. Guard yourself from this, because this thing creeps without you knowing. What? Be on guard of what? Of greediness. What is greediness? Greediness is living a life in pursuit for personal gains alone. Greediness is not living for Christ. Greediness is not living for others. It is living solely for personal gain. Real living is not based simply on what you possess. Is what God is telling here. It says, life is more than the abundance of possession. That is not life. Life is not about getting as much possessions. Life is about not what you possess. Life is about what possesses you. Real living is tied up with God. If your life is not tied up with God, then that's not real living. You are simply existing. Verse 16, and he told them a parable saying, the land of a rich man was very productive. Mm. You know, for the Jews, when you say the land of a rich man was very productive, the first thing that comes to that mind that man is religious. Why? Because he's being blessed by God. He is a blessed man. He is a righteous man. Why? Clearly, remember Job? When things were all falling apart, they were blaming him for what? You have a sin. That's why God is punishing you. So here, when Jesus was telling this story, for a Jew listening to this, they would say, okay, Jesus is giving a story about this righteous man who is now being blessed by God tremendously. Verse 17. And he began reasoning to himself, saying, what shall I do, since I have no place to store my crops? Nice dilemma. There are two types of problem, a bad problem and a good problem. This is a good problem. He has a dilemma. He has a large crop but has no place to store it. Verse 18. Then he said, okay, this is what I'll do. I will tear down my barn and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grains and my goods. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, the wording here is, I will make many large barns. He was prudent. He was planning. Nothing wrong with that, right? And the Jews who was listening to this would say, good. This man is blessed by God. He must be righteous. Not only that, he's very prudent in life. Something that we should all emulate. But comes the shocker in verse 19. And I will say to my soul, no, well, not yet. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have many goods laid up for many years to come. Take your ease, eat, drink, and be merry. Kaya sabi niya, time to retire. Right? Relax. Now I can live leisurely. I can start vacationing a lot. Start doing this, doing that. Living for self-gratification. Yet this man does not find the need to help others or to thank God. He was simply comforted by the fact that he has a lot of things and he can spend it all for him. In fact, if you note, he says, my fruits, my barn, my goods, my soul. It's all self-interest. It's everything that I have earned. My things. And verse 20 is the shocker. But God said to him, you fool. Why are you thinking all about yourself? Why are you living your life for yourself alone? For the Jews, they'll be shocked. What did he do wrong? He planned a good retirement. But the problem of this man was he was not living for Christ. He was not living for others. He was living for himself alone. That was his problem. And says, God said, you fool. This very night, your soul is required of you, and now who will own what you have prepared? The word fool here, apron, is a big concept for the Old Testament Jew. It means acting without God. Interesting definition. It is acting without God. No matter how great your plans are, they're foolish if you're acting it without God. It says, you fool. I remember, I have a friend. Napakatipid ng friend ko to. We took a flight before. Naka-economy. Ako sa akin, normal lang. Hindi mo ako mayaman eh. Pero ito mayaman to. Economy siya. And we ate in a restaurant. He was complaining. Baka mahal naman dito. Mahal naman ang restaurant ito. Ako naman, I like eating naman. So, paano na to? Ikaw sa McDo. So, blah, blah, blah. And our joke to him is, pare, by the way, thank you daw. Sabi ng son-in-law, siya magpa-first class. I mean, this is what God is saying. You fool! This very night your soul is required of you, and now who will own all what you have prepared? Iiwanan mo yan. And we like teasing him, pare, thank you daw talaga, sabi ng son-in-law. Kasi siya magpa-first class. Ikaw nagtiis sa business. Sa economy class. Verse 21. So is the man who stores up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. You know, we are to live wisely in light of the certainty of our death. Not living for ourselves. Not thinking life is about getting the most gold, being the most powerful, being the most famous. That's really wasting your life. It is if it's apart from God. Why throw it away? And when Moses in Psalm 90 was saying, Lord, teach me to number my days, he's saying, Lord, may I realize that I am mortal, that my life is short, that I might not waste my life in pursuit of vainless things, in pursuit of things that will not last for all eternity. Lord, may I put away child's play, and may I fix my eyes on you and you alone. So Lord, teach me to number my days that I may gain this heart and mind of wisdom. Not living for myself, but living for others. Because living for others is living for Christ. To live Christ. That is the reason why we live. It is for Christ's glorification in our life. And that is my desire for all of us today. Realize our life is fleeting. Let us not waste our life, but live our life wisely in light of the certainty of our death. Thus says the Lord. For our last song.